ImageLine unwittingly changed the world on April 19th, 2013 with the release of FL Studio 11. This version introduced new plugins and features that revolutionized the music industry and influenced the future sound of hip-hop and rap. Despite being over 10 years old, FL Studio 11 is still used daily by both professional and hobbyist music producers. The belief that FL Studio 11 sounded better persisted until it was debunked, attributing the perceived difference to a slight increase in the default master limiter input gain. FL 11 was also the first version to allow for skins, a feature that ImageLine would soon revoke until the release of FL Studio 21 in December of 2022. FL Studio 20, released on May 22nd, 2018, was designed to merge the best features of both FL 11, released in 2013, and FL 12, released in 2015. I remember trying the FL Studio 12 demo sometime in 2015, but it wasn't until 2019 that I began making beats inside of FL Studio 20. I have occasionally used FL 11 for fun, but the newer 20 lineup has many features I can't do without. In today's video, I wanted to create a beat in both FL 11 and FL 21, compare the two, and convince you why I believe you should upgrade or update to FL 21 today. After you finish this video, of course. What's up, everybody? My name is CJ, aka CJink. I am a music producer, artist, musician, engineer, DJ, all-around doer of everything music. If you learned something from this video, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It not only helps me out, but it helps YouTube know that others need to see this video as well. So what are we waiting for? Let's dive right into making a beat in FL Studio 11. Ooh, so that's one thing right off the bat that I do notice about FL 11 is that the logo was totally different and kind of cool. Anyways, yes, this is FL Studio 11. I'm gonna zoom out real quick. There will be black bars, but I do want to show you my entire screen. I'm of course using an extended range monitor, but the number one thing you can see right now missing is there is no picker panel for your patterns, automations, or your audio clips. Also, you can obviously tell that this looks very dated now. It's hard to believe that this was still 2013. I mean, it still feels like this is something from the 90s or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me, but we've came a long ways from the way this looked for sure. Really quickly before we start here, I do want to show you the reason why everybody thinks it sounds better is if you go to the default Fruity limiter here in the effects chain, which used to only have 8 inserts by the way, we can see that the limiter here is indeed increased by about 5.4 decibels. If we just simply middle mouse click, that'll reset it back to 0. And we are right where FL 12 and FL 20, 21 sounds. So me personally, I never use Fruity Limiter. I always do Soft Clipper into Ozone on my master. But we are going to switch this out for Fruity Soft Clipper. And one thing you notice, there is no way to sort the plugins. They're just kind of everywhere. But yeah, this is our Soft Clipper. I think part of the reason it looks like this is because of my screen resolution, but that's what we're working with here. Also, one or two more things really quickly before we start making a beat. As you can see, the selected channel is here, which is kind of the current channel now, and our master meter is on the right here. Also, if you want to add a plugin that was not in that list here, you have to scroll all the way through this list and try to find it. It's awful. Okay, now that I have my audio routed via Voxengo recorder, let's go ahead and cook up. So one thing that never changed is the default channel rack here having these 4 sounds. So one of the things that annoys me about FL 11 is that you have to manually set how long we want the channel rack to be. So for example, this says we're setting it 16 beats per bar for this pattern. Now, if we go into an instrument sound here, it'll only say like bar 1 inside of the channel rack. However, when we throw it over here, it'll of course say bar 1 through 8. We've got some of the same features, of course. What is this? Keyboard editor. Okay, I see what this is. This allows you to change the default pitch that a sound is played back by in the channel rack without having to open it up in the piano roll. So that way you could like pitch stuff up or whatever. And lastly, before we start cooking up here, let's look at the old sampler channel settings thing. Oh, this is awful. Yeah, so here's our envelope. Of course, we usually do this design right here for 808s and stuff. Yeah. And here are our pre-computed effects here that they removed in FL 12 but brought back in FL 20 here. All right, well, let's first start off just by deleting all of the, oh, even the menu looks old. Also, another annoying thing about this, there's no just add button down here at the bottom. You have to come all the way over here to channels, add one, and then choose whatever plugin you want to use. It's very redundant and very annoying, to be honest with you. And I guess I'm glad that I was not around when they had to go through a time that was not so fun, so to speak. So as you can see here, it says 1 and then there is no 2, 3, 4. It's just 1 and then 2. And that is because of how long I set our pattern length here. If I come down here and set it to 8, we now get 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to set it to 4 here to get it to be like it, quote, should be. However, that then does not allow us to do a full 8 bars worth of the step sequencer. Now, it is cool that, of course, a lot of the same hotkeys work just because they've had these features in for a long time. So I want to come over here and randomize our velocities for just a quick second. Oh, and that is also one other thing to note is that the knobs used to have this kind of little bar, I guess, that would show you how far you have turned it. So also one thing that you would have to do, since this is set to 4 bars worth of the step sequencer, I have to turn on this repeat step sequencer button here so we get the full 8 without this being set to 32, which would take up the whole screen. Also, one important thing is that you can't just click on this and have it automatically route like you can in the newer FL. You have to click on this box first, then you can Control L and it will automatically label the name and everything else. Also, it's not letting me select multiple tracks at one time, so I guess you used to couldn't do that. So I can go ahead and tell you it is taking me so much longer to get a beat done inside of FL11. Not because anything is vastly different, it's just because it's the way it is, you know. There's a lot of, you know, either keybinds or features or other stuff like that that I am not able to do. And honestly, that slows things up a whole lot. Like I can usually crank out a beat in about 20 minutes and I've been working on this for close to 20 right here and I'm not even done. So I'm glad we've came as far as we have, I'll say that. Let me get to arranging and then we will listen to the full beat. Also, you apparently cannot X out of the channel rack. It just hangs around, I guess. So like I mentioned earlier, there's no picker panel. So when you go to throw something in here for the first time, it'll ask you what you want to put in here. And you can adjust that by just changing your pattern here, of course. We click here and I cannot split the channel. So I have to actually come up here to the pattern selector, right click, and then hit split by channel. And now I can sit through here, scroll through 2, 3, 4. If you use plus and minus on your keyboard, it'll actually go between these as well. Okay, I've got this arranged. It took me a little bit of time, but let's go ahead and listen to the full beat. really kind of rocked with this. I know it's a little bit different and maybe it kind of sounds like something from this era. I don't know. But overall, if I could give a rating to using FL Studio 11 without thinking about FL Studio 20 and 21, I'd have to probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. All right, so FL Studio 21. Wow, things look a lot different coming back into this. I went ahead and took my theme off, you know, just so we kind of match the vibes and whatnot. But I couldn't imagine using FL11 for more than the past like 40 minutes I have. We've got our full-size soft clipper back, thankfully, and a big shout out to the plus button here. I don't know how I could get away with always having to come up here and hit add and then add whatever. Also, the channel rack, I'm thankful that we don't have to move this pattern length and everything like that. And lastly, if I show you all just the default template here, and to prove my point about it sounding different, if we go into the Fruity limiter here, the gain is at 0 by default. I didn't change that. Remember, the other one was like right here at about like 5.4, 5.5. By default, it is at 0. That is the only thing that influenced the quote sound of the DAW, and everything else. Everybody's always like, oh, it sounds better. Sounds, you know, whatever. No, it's just that. As far as making a beat in FL Studio 21, I think I'm just going to use a loop for this section, mainly because I'm kind of running out of time and I'm lazy. I've also been wanting to use some melodies out of this new producer grind Outbreak beta pack, so let's see if I can find something cool here. Also, using audio clips was something I didn't even try in FL11. I know you can use them and route them and do everything, but the recording aspect is a lot harder to do. You can't record into the playlist, and overall it seems like it's just a little bit tougher to do. I know when you watch that, I put my tag and everything else in there, maybe some risers or whatever, so it's not impossible, it's just a lot more tough to do.
On the beat.
Also like that we have our spectrograph here on our EQ. Now granted, I know I did use a melody loop for this, but I basically finished this beat in like 7 minutes. So now I understand, you know, if you grew up on 11 and that's all you've used, you're probably a lot quicker at it than me, but I feel like that's a testament to how much more efficient and fast the workflow can be in 21. So after I clean up the arrangement, add a few more sounds, let's listen to the full beat.
On the beat.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It'll help me out a whole lot. I still see people debating on FL11 versus 21, and I have to honestly tell you, you should try 21. We've got so many new and improved features, such as the AI stem separation, the AI mastering, all kinds of good stuff that FL11 would have never imagined having. Thank you all for watching. My name is CJ, aka CJink. Have a good whatever time of day you're watching this, and God bless.